If you ever wanted to be the Genghis Khan of Europe, spread your seed across the 7 seas, and have 1 out of every 200 people on Earth be your child, I am not the guy that you should be asking that about, but you can get close to it in genetic dynasties. A video game that simulates the life of a peasant better than Warcraft 3. You start as an 18-year-old boy who ran away from his village that was attacked and have his family members killed. And right away you can tell that the game is based because there is no woke agenda like character selection like these horrible games. Oh my god, there is, and they added it last month. I'm so sorry about that. As you start the game, the first thing that you do is run towards the yellow, because the developed gamer mind has learned that if yellow, I go. Also because there is nothing really that tells you what to do or explains what is happening. The tutorial pop-ups that show up from time to time somehow manage to be almost extremely fucking useless. But helpful just a bit.
Stay a while and listen.
When you get to the village and talk to the yellow, it's a friendly villager that recognizes you to be the son of an old friend. And you tell him your parents, his friends, were murdered and you ran away. So he offers you a bowl of soup and some moldy bread. But no place to sleep because fuck you dirty hobo peasant man. Can't even sleep near the campfire. You have to get away from the camp and sleep. While this game doesn't have voice-lined quests, the random villagers do, and it makes the whole place feel a lot more lively. If anybody out there knows how to mod games, maybe TTS some quests.
Those eyes. I didn't think.
So, as an adult young male who has just been on an episode of Pillage My Village on Russian TV, the only thing that's left for you to do is build your own house, with a paid mortgage and all that shit, because if you wanna fuck bitches, we ain't doing it in the bushes no more. We're civilized, bitch. So building your first home, you run around staring at the floor and collecting stick and stone and stuff. But you get weight capped and you have your stamina run out way too quick. So the only thing that's left to do is to say fuck that shit and start a new save with no weight limit and endless stamina. Role-playing like a real medieval strongman. A quick note while editing, you can do it from inside the game, you don't have to start a new save. Anyway, back to the video. After building the first 2 houses and doing some quests to raise reputation with the locals, you finally get to bring the first bitch home. Yeah, you look alright.
Hello there.
Congratulations! You have started a cult.
I would have a couple of suggestions for improving life in our city.
Now that the first bitch is in town, you can have her polish your log.
I love the scent of wood.
And no, that's not me, that's the game developers not letting you build anything else. And there is a problem you're going to find out. That these ladies have high standards that they do not want to share housing. So you need to build a house for each one. And no, there is no Girls Gone Wild. So it's back to log and stick collecting. And stone. Once you have collected enough peasants and women and let them handle the wood, you open yourself up to doing other things like questing, for example, which means running to the other villages on the map. By the way, I found out that outrun is holding W and double tapping shift, but you ain't gonna outrun anything. The quests are simple in nature but can be quite entertaining to read through, but the running there and back gets exhausting. And then there was Sambo's quest, which surprised me compared to the other stuff because I liked it and it was good. And he's a relatable character, and finding little wooden things on the ground poked my imagination as to what, who, and why, and I mean it in a good thing. On a side note, fuck the caravan fast travel, man, this shit is way too expensive. So I think it primarily comes down to having something worthwhile to do when you get there. Whenever I set up this save, I didn't change how much the villagers eat. So naturally it is time for me to learn how to poke things with my reliable stick from behind. I haven't had the chance to visit local establishments. Now listen, at some point you might find out that you have 150 meats in your pockets. It doesn't matter how they got there, but what's important to remember is that cooking them takes 3 seconds apiece, and that's 7.5 minutes. Drying them takes 5 seconds each, so that's about 13 minutes. So, if you were paying attention to the video, fast crafting is a thing.
Know what I'm saying?
The kid. I wake up the next morning and the lady that was bunking beds with me is pregnant somehow. Listen, in my defense I don't know what I was doing. I clicked the wrong button and it happened so fast. I couldn't stop it, no way to opt out, the animation just plays, you wake up, and you're dead. And I know, I signed up to this game to make a harem, make an empire, But I'm only 20 years old in game and that's too much right now. I can't do no kids. So I quit. After 25 hours, I quit. I know. I didn't run away from the kid. I just paused the game. The time is halted and he lives somewhere on my HDD. Also fuck them kids. So, a few things to say in conclusion. First, I'm very conflicted about the game. The game scratches the itch, but at the same time, it misses it. On the one hand, it has the theme that I really want to play, the medieval village simulation building, has cool things in it, co-op hunting, having the villagers move from place to place, being able to grab items and spin them in the air, not having items despawn. I know it's a small detail, but it adds a lot. But on the other, everything feels kind of basic and lacking depth. And I understand I didn't get to the later stages of the game, where you get to see how the village turns out, and that's supposed to be the meat of the game, I think. But for me, the amount of dead spaces between the things you need to do are too big, and I often find myself running back and forth to buy something instead of being self-sustaining. For example, collecting materials for building a basic house became tedious very quick, way before I built enough of them to automate things. I can't imagine how I could have done it with the stamina limitation and weight limitation. So, in a conclusion of a conclusion, there is fun to be had in the game, it's a great idea for a game, also a very time consuming game. And the biggest of them all is that the devs are still developing and adding stuff to it. For example, they released co-op update last month. I personally find it hard to suggest right now because of how niche it hits, but it's one of these games where I want it to be good, and it's definitely a try before you buy, and hope that in a year they will add enough stuff that it would be okay to suggest it. Anyway, this gets the game out of Steam rating. Leave a comment telling me what you think about the vid, and thanks for watching.